Hello guys! I have met a lot of people who often share with me about their difficulties while learning English. While I listen to them, I often ask them a question. What do you learn exactly? What do you learn specifically when you learn English? And you know that I just surprisingly realized that many people still have no idea of what they should take first when they learn English. Or I mean a proper procedure when you learn English. So I think that that's why I decided to make this video and help you answer this question. I will focus mainly on communicative English because this is what's most practical for you. And I'm very excited because I strongly believe that it's going to be a very useful video for you. So, can you guess what is the first cue that we should learn when we learn English? Is it pronunciation or vocabulary? Actually not, and the answer is listening. I know that it may sound a little bit awkward because when we mention communicative English, we often think about speaking and what can make us speak, like pronunciation or vocabularies. But actually the answer is listening. Why? Number one, is it true that we often hear the phrase listening, speaking, reading, and writing? And it is exactly the procedure that you should take when you learn English. If listening is the input, the speaking will be the output. If reading is the input, the writing will be the output. So it means that if you want to speak more, you need to spend time doing more listening. Let's see how a baby learns to speak. Is it true that he or she will listen to what people around him or her speak, and then he or she copies it and then they speak out? So if you want to learn a new language, just learn like a baby. Number two, I'm sure that you may ask me like, I am beginners and I don't understand anything, so why do I have to do the listening? Actually, we will have two phrases in the listening, that is passive listening and active listening. With the first phrase of listening, passive listening, you don't need to understand anything when you do the listening. You just need to listen to get familiar with all the parts of English like accent, like pronunciation or intonation. And day by day, this practice will create a feeling with English, and this feeling will help you be able to absorb the new lesson much easier. I have done several examples with some students in my class, some students I ask them to do nothing at home, and some students I ask them to do the listening exercises before they come to the class. And you know that, can you guess the difference? The students who practice the listening at home, when they come to the class, they're very excited every time they hear some words or some phrases that I speak, and they have heard that at home. So they will perform much better than the students who are asked to do nothing at home. So this is one very interesting example to let you see that how important the passive listening will help you in the learning procedure. And when you move up to higher level like elementary or pre-intermediate level, you will move up to the second phase of the listening, that is active listening. In the active listening, you need to understand what you hear. And one method can help you practice the active listening is playing the record several times, keep and writing down what you can hear, and then you compare it with the script. And this method really takes time to practice, so please do it regularly and patiently. And believe me, if you give the input enough what it needs, you will be surprised by the output that you can create. If you want to ask the recommendation for the book, for the material to practice passive listening and active listening, I will recommend you one book, that is Effortless English. This is a very famous material from H.E. Ho, who I really admire, and his book focuses on listening and on the method to learn English through listening skill. Okay, try to find out it. And the second thing that we should learn now, it is pronunciation. And before we come to the part, I would like to share you the way to pronounce this word correctly. Okay, it's very important. Now let's try it. Pronunciation, the C here will be a soft S. ancient will be the strong S. So we will say pronunciation. Pronunciation, not pronunciation or pronunciation. Okay, pronunciation. And why is pronunciation important? You know that if you have a lot of vocabularies but you don't pronounce those words correctly, it will lead a conversation to nowhere. I will tell you one true example from a student who studies abroad. And when he's having dessert with his professor asks, "What do you often have for dessert in Vietnam?" And he says, "It's snake." And you know, the professor is very shocked. "Snake? How can you eat snake?" And he said, "Yeah, it's very normal in my country." And the professor keeps asking, "How many snakes can you eat?" And he says, "Well, I can eat a lot of snakes." Okay, and you see that the professor becomes like very shocked and he says like, "You're so heroic." And you can see that the word that the student tries to mention is snake. And the word that the professor observes is snake. Okay, so you see it is just a small mistake in the pronunciation has made this conversation become a disaster. That's why in my class, the students often call me a cruel teacher because I'm really hard at the pronunciation, and I always try to push my students to make correct pronunciation. And I want to recommend to you one book which can help you improve the pronunciation very effectively. That is Sheep book. You know this book, right? This is a really famous book for helping you to improve the pronunciation. And now number 3. When you pass the pronunciation, you will move to number 3, and this is time for vocabulary. Well, you know that the more vocabularies you know, the easier for you to express your ideas. And when you pass the vocabularies, it will come to the last part. This is the grammar. So you see that grammar is not the most important factor that you should take first when you learn English, but it's still a very important factor because it can help the audience easier to understand the context of your saying. So how to learn vocabularies and grammar effectively? I have made one separate vlog which share about the one method to help you learn vocabularies and remember those words for a very long time and combine with the way to learn the grammar. So if you want to receive this video very easy, just inbox me or comment your Gmail and cell phone below, and I will send this link to you directly. So let's summarize some important factors, important procedure that we can take if we are beginners with the zero beginning and want to practice communicative English. Number 1, this is try to spend 15 to 30 minutes practice listening at home. If you are like zero beginning, if you are like beginners, you can practice passive listening. And if you move up to pre-intermediate or elementary, you can practice active listening. And then you move to the pronunciation. You can try to find the book Sheep and practice at home. Or if you are interested in my videos, you can subscribe me because one of my teacher and I have cooperated together, and we are going to launch a series of pronunciation lesson on video on YouTube. And you can subscribe us to receive the newest lesson. And then number 3 is vocabularies. Just give us your contact and we will send you the link directly to help you learn about the vocabularies and the grammars. And the last part is for people who are interested in my class. Number 1 is all my classes focus mainly on communicative English for workers, officers, for businessmen, or students who are going to graduate or apply for foreign companies. And therefore number two is because it is communicative English, so 70 to 80% the time of the class, my students have to practice listening and speaking continuously. So I'm sure that this is not like a very easy or comfortable class for you if you really want to improve your speaking. Okay, if you want to know more information, just leave your cell phone below and I will give you more consultancy. Thank you for listening to me and have a nice day.